Hello and welcome back to the final episode of my walkthrough. Today I'm going to show you how to jump the behemoth's Ecliptic Meteor, and then after that I'm going to commentate over a Kulve Taroth run I did with my friend Artemis. Before I tell you how to jump the meteor, keep in mind that it's always safer to hide behind a comet. Ideally, you should only use this if you have no other option, be that you're too far away to reach the comet before the meteor hits, or there are no comets left to hide behind. For jumping the Ecliptic Meteor, you need to assign the Final Fantasy jump gesture to your radial menu. The timing on using this jump is essential to jumping the meteor. There is a visual cue and an audio cue. For the visual cue, when you see Behemoth casting Ecliptic Meteor, sheath your weapon and watch your hunter very closely. When the meteor arrives, your hunter will do a little shutter animation. When that animation ends and your hunter is standing straight up again, that's when you hit the jump emote. Keep in mind that if you're in a hot area and you don't have a cool drink on, then your hunter will not do this shutter animation. Your hunter will be bent over panting and sweating, so if you want to use this visual to jump the meteor, then be sure to have a cool drink when you're in a hot area. Next we have the audio cue. When the meteor arrives, a high-pitched whistle kind of sound will play. The moment that high-pitched sound ends is when you need to hit the button. Take a listen. And that's it. I sincerely hope this will be helpful to you, and good luck getting that dragon armor. It's awesome. Before we begin, just in case you were curious, here is the first set of armor I'm bringing into the Kulve Taroth fight. My build is a mix of damage, defense, and support. Some of you may scoff at me for not having things like Bombardier or some other more damaging skills, but the thing is, this build has gotten me through many Kulve sieges. The more I heal, the less players faint and the less we fail the quests. Do you know how many times I've saved people from Kulve's fire? I may not have the best build for doing quick runs, but so many factors have led me to create these builds. First of all, I usually only have one other friend with me, in this case Artemis. The others cannot communicate with us in voice chat. Even if Artemis and I weren't voice chatting in a private party, there's also the possibility of a language barrier. Secondly, random players aren't always knowledgeable, especially if they're new to Kulve, which is understandable. I've been there as well. I'm not trying to talk them down, but I'd rather have the option to give people a leg up since I can only effectively communicate with one other player. Finally, Kulve Taroth is permanently arc-tempered now. She does a metric boatload of damage and we will get hit. If someone does get hit and is in a tight spot, I can save us that feint. While I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on how to fight Kulve, I will tell you this. Your goal is to break parts, not kill her, since she cannot be killed. During this phase, where she's covered in her golden mantle, you want to focus on breaking parts, and that is why Part Breaker is a very good skill to have.
There it is, at last. Reminds me of that time. Now get out there.
I don't remember exactly what skills Artemis has. I know she has some heavy artillery though. The reason why is this first area has a lot of those cannons, so she likes to be the one to shoot the cannons for that extra damage. Now what I'm doing over here is I'm putting a wyvern blast down, I think that's what it's called, to break these right here. Because the first cannon that comes out of that one over there will hit the boulders and break them, and it's kind of wasted. So I break that for her. Here I'm just trying to do a little bit of damage. I remember whiffing it. Yeah, there we go. I whiffed it there. I brought thunderbugs to make more thunder ammo though. Now right here, I'm going back up to help Artemis. You see that first hit of the cannon, like I said before? That would have hit the boulders and not Kulve, so that's why I broke those boulders for her. Now I think right here, KMS breaks the horn plating, yep, with this bug. That's actually pretty funny. Now what he's doing right there, that vaulting attack, that has him juggling on the monster, that move actually isn't very useful in this phase. It's a little more useful in the final phase when we're trying to break the actual horns off, because it's a lot easier to reach the horns with an insect glaive at that phase, but right now, since everything that we're doing is about breaking the mantle, it's better for him to stay on the ground and attack the mantle with us, which I do think he does. I think he was just trying to vault over to get to her horns a little easier. Although the advantage of the insect glaive is that you are so maneuverable, you can get out of some very, very hectic situations. When Kulve does that move that we like to call the floor is lava, or she'll breathe fire on the floor. I'm not even sure if it's fire, it's basically just heat. But anyway, when she does that, if you have an insect glaive, you can leap out of that, so. For me, I'm just bombing everything I could think of. We're trying to. I do believe here I was trying to do my best to break the legs, because we don't have any like concentrated damage, so I was trying to do as much damage to the legs to break the gold off them. I just broke that for convenience. I both go over to this one. At this point, we're trying to chip her horns, because that's one of the breaks you get. Alright, next area.
Ready?
That's basically me topping everybody off. I also have a dash juice with me, but I don't use it here.
Proceed with caution.
It may not seem significant, but with my wide range, my dash juice will affect everyone. And I managed to dodge through that. We broke enough parts, so she's gonna dig here. At this point, I don't think we've chipped the horn, so yeah, there we go. Gonna place those bombs close, so when she pops out of the ground... Bam. Fortunately, KMS got hit there, so I healed him. And that's the floor is lava. I mean, I guess it is fire. It looks more like liquid heat to me. Eh. Whatever, it burns. I think right here, Artemis and I place some bombs to try and break the legs. I said, like, I'll break the left, and she breaks the right. And I think Squishy comes in and tries to help here, but I wasn't quite prepared for it. We don't know Squishy or KMS, so they're completely random people. Ooh, feels bad. He got a one-shot almost. That fast little breath attack actually does a lot of damage. If you don't have any sort of fire resistance, you need a lot to survive that thing. preferably with some vitality as well. I think now we're focusing our, you know, firepower. Oh, I think Artemis broke the other leg there. So now we're just focusing on breaking as many parts as possible to get her to go to the next area. Here she digs again. I didn't have any bombs left. The Squishy did, so I put my Wyvern Blast next to it. Is this her leaving? Yep. This is her leaving to the next area. Oh, and if anyone was wondering, the pursuit level on this quest was level 3, I do believe. If you don't know what that means, when you do these sieges and you pick up gold and all that kind of stuff, you raise the pursuit level. You know, she'll eventually leave if you don't do enough. There's Artemis going to get a different build. I forget which one it was, so... Anyway, if she leaves and you go back, your pursuit level will rise. The higher it rises, the easier it is she's going to be able to... Well, sorry. The easier it is for you to break the horns. That's what that means. It's very difficult to do it in pursuit level 1. Artemis and I can actually duo it in pursuit level 5 or 6. I'm not sure about 4. We haven't done it in 4. You'd knock those boulders down to knock her down for a lot of damage, and I got lucky there. It's actually surprisingly difficult to knock those boulders on her sometimes. So a lot of people miss, so try not to get mad if that happens. I miss, other people have missed, it's just... This is a pretty golden run. Pun intended. Puns are always intended. Alright, this is her releasing. And after this, the fight pretty much gets real. She's no longer sluggish. Anyway, I'm going back to camp because I have to get my other set, which I will cut here and show you. Okay, now that she's released, Part Breaker is pretty much useless, so I go to my Ice Bow build, since she's weak to ice when released, and I've gemmed in a paralysis coating gem into this build because I intend to CC chain her, and this bow can't use paralysis coatings without that gem. I also gem in a bit of speed eating because I'm going to be guzzling potions like an extremely dedicated health nut. This is gonna get pretty hectic. She becomes very, very fast during this phase. And she does a lot of damage, especially if you incite her fury. Go watch a guide on how to do that. And the music revs up because it knows things just got real, so... Squishy and Artemis also go back to change their builds. Unfortunately, KMS goes in without us, which is not a good idea. By the way, I feel I should mention, if you intend to do any kind of CC, like sleep or paralysis or whatever, save it for the last room. Always save it for the last room. And right now I'm waiting for Squishy and Artemis to get down here, because I want to buff them before going in with the dash juice. Unfortunately, KMS isn't going to get it, so... But... Here comes Squishy, and there's Artemis. Alright, caffeine for everyone. Put my sleep coatings on, and this right here that's coming up is a beautiful CC chain. I could not have asked for a better one. Signaling, just to let people know. Now, I put my bombs next to her head, but Squishy and Artemis put it by her tail because they want to break it, which is fine. Now here I'm counting down. You can't hear it, but I'm counting down. 3, 2, 1. Now I go with Paralysis Coatings, try and keep her still, because I don't want her to enrage yet. She enrages right after you CC her. Yeah. I switched to Power Coatings. And then just as she gets out of the paralysis, she gets knocked out. Right here. That is beautiful. Beautiful CC chain. At this point, I try to go back and help Artemis and Squishy with the tail, since it doesn't look like they got it, but nah, they had it. So. This is what I mean. Right after you do any sort of crowd control on her, she'll immediately get up and lava the room in a rage. And she gains that move. That was kind of a scary moment for Artemis there. Or at least for me, from my perspective. I was like, oh no. What Artemis is trying to do right now is try and mount her. That's why she's jumping off of the pillar there. KMS actually gets the mount though. Right here I'm trying to stay by the pillar so Artemis can get the jump attack off on. But unfortunately, I got hit through that. At least I was healing Squishy as well. And then poor Artemis got hit. This is kind of the dynamic. She tries to just go all in while I keep her alive. There you go, KMS gets the mount. No, she'll headbutt the pillar on the opposite side of the room, but I kind of get turned around here. And I just get a little confused because I'm at not the right place. That's what I'm talking about right there. Tries to ram the pillar. And you can put bombs there and bomb her face. But, you know, I put bombs down anyway. Now, Swishy comes up eventually and starts helping me with this. And Artemis is getting all her files and stuff ready to get a Ultra off on her Tfei. Which you'll see in a minute. And there's the burst. Yep. See all that ice? She has the Kiara Strong Arm Ice with her. Anyone was wondering. And that was a good placement of the Wyvern Blast by Squishy there. Here I'm just trying to keep everybody alive. This is pretty much what I do half the fight. Because, you know, we can't win if we die. At this point, it's just try to, you know, hit the horns, and poor KMS gets hurt. But I decided to try and get a few hits in while my temporal mantle, well, and now it just runs out. Let me see. Now this coming up here is something Squishy tried to do. He places a bomb down to try and lure her into biting it to get it to detonate on her head. And he does get it, actually. He, the first time he does get it. He does get it the second time. He does it twice. But the second time he tries to do it, he actually gets killed because he runs away. There's the first time. He runs away a bit and tries to reload his gun. But as he reloads his gun, we both actually get hit by this move. But since I have all that defensive skill, all those defenses, I can tank it, and he gets one shot. Oh, feels bad, man. Anyway, but in quite the contrast, this coming up here is very, very epic. This is what Artemis likes to do. She likes to charge up everything on her weapon there, and she likes to get an Ultra off on its head, try to reposition herself, and get an Ultra off, try to risk it for a biscuit. Meanwhile, I'll be a little more careful and be ready to heal her if she gets hit. But sometimes, not only does she get the biscuit, she gets the whole box of biscuits and a side of gravy. That was awesome, Artemis. So awesome. These are the moments that make this game so much fun to play. That was just amazing. And now you can't hear it, but she and I are gushing over this in the voice chat right now. Because, I mean, this isn't the first time this has happened. This has happened several times in the past. But this was the first time I actually got to see it. I'm just as hyped as she is because I never got to see it. I'm usually like halfway across the room guzzling potions like it's my job. So so we were really happy, and like I was eventually saying, I got that on camera, perfectly framed. So we were really, really excited. And I'm asking her to come over here. Hey, let's get an epic shot of this, like epic pose. Awesome, Artemis. This was actually the run that finally got her Taroth Assault Glutton. And I always wanted the Kiar Strongarm Ice. That was the one I couldn't get, and I kept getting Gluttons. She kept getting the Kiar Strongarm Ice. I think she got 3 of them. And I got 3 Gluttons, so... I kind of wish I recorded her squeal when she finally saw it appear in the drops. It was like someone opening up a present at Christmas. It was awesome. If I could bro fist you, Artemis, I would. And there's the winning shot right there. That was just amazing. And with that, this walkthrough is officially over. I doubt I'll put up any other Monster Hunter videos, at least not until Iceborne comes out, although by that time it'll be a playthrough rather than a walkthrough, since I'm going to be just as blind as everyone else. This walkthrough was a ton of fun to make, and I hope I was able to help someone out there. So, until Iceborne releases, happy hunting!